Yeah, that's right.
Right.
They've had to
Her birthday on.
down
News there out there.
pull down civic center.
Now, so you in the eye.
Okay.
What's up, like?
Good evening, everyone. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Municipality of the County of Colchester, February 26, 2026. And I would ask our CAO for roll call, please.
Much, Madam Mayor, so we'll start with the chair, Mayor Blair.
Present.
Councilor Weatherby.
Present.
Councilor Sanderson. Councilor Richardson.
Present.
Councilor Cooper.
Present.
Councilor Johnson.
Present.
Councilor Leggett. Present. Councilor Martell.
Present.
Councilor Patton.
Present.
Councilor Benoit.
Present.
Councilor Fletcher.
Present.
Councilor Kennedy.
Present.
All present, you have quorum.
Thank you. In peace and friendship and in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, I recognize that we live in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq. The first item that we have this evening is a public hearing development agreement, lands of 443-2357 Nova Scotia Limited and Andrew Blackburn.
Mr. Chair, I'll be recusing.
And would the record show that Councillor Patton has recused herself from the discussion? I call this public hearing to order respecting an application to enter into a development agreement to allow a mixed-use planned development with permitted uses, including a wide variety of residential housing forms, along with mixed commercial, residential, commercial, recreation, institutional uses, as well as open spaces and environmental protection areas on PIDs 2006765 200690027 and 2040846, located on Pictou Road and Bimmy Road. There is a recommendation by staff to approve this development agreement. The proposed development agreement and a related staff report have been circulated to council members and have been made available to the public. Mr. Clerk, have the guidelines of the Municipal Government Act regarding advertising of the first and second readings and public hearing been followed?
Madam Mayor, they have.
Thank you. Councillors, you are reminded that only those councillors present throughout the public hearing can vote on approval of the development agreement when it is eventually considered by council. That this public hearing is council's opportunity to hear the development agreement and any concerns of Colchester County residents. Individual councillors will have an opportunity to debate the merits of the development agreement when the motion is presented to council. And that staff are present at this hearing to answer any technical questions that may arise because of the public's input. We are going to change this up a bit this evening. Normally we have staff present first, but this evening we are going to have the applicant present first. Do we have someone who will speak for the applicant and give an overview of the proposal? And would you identify yourself, please? And I'll ask you to turn the microphone on. That's the button on the lower right. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. My name is Chris Marquez. I'm a senior planner with ZAP Consulting, representing the applicant on this file.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Then please proceed.
Bear with me, I need to upload the presentation. Hello, members of council. Again, my name is Chris Marquez. I'm a senior planner with ZAP Consulting, representing Five Corners Properties on the file. So I kind of want to go back a step and say, why a comprehensive development district? So this land is zoned and designated as comprehensive development. So basically what a CED does is it establishes overarching policy for how lands should be developed and enables a development agreement pathway to allow for a higher level vision or controlled vision of lands. It allows for flexible growth management, infrastructure alignment, and sustainable density on property. So these lands, as part of your plan review, were designated comprehensive development district. So a development agreement is just a legal contract between the landowner and a municipality. It runs with the land. So even if this land ever gets sold or as it gets developed, the contract will still be in place. It provides the ability to do kind of custom regulations that are outside of the land use bylaw to enable development that may not have been contemplated and act as kind of a test case for development or for development regulations. Provides some certainty for the municipality as to the timing of development, the types of parkland, the location and type of right of ways, and also provides long-term control over the property. This development agreement, this process didn't come out of nowhere. It aligns with the 2007 Village Master Plan, which about implementing a village core concept, connecting to existing neighborhoods and support community amenities and services, and have a phased growth approach. So the lands on this map here, the red boundary is the subject lands, and this is a broader village master plan vision in 2007 that was adopted by the municipality. At a high level, I believe you have this in front of you, the 11/17 version of it is the overall concept plan. I'll get into some of the details in just a second. So there's 4 proposed zones. The first one is residential neighborhood 1, and that is the yellow on your map and your on the plan there. That's a low density residential, detached, semi-detached homes. Residential neighborhood, which is the light brown on the map. That's townhouses and stacked townhouses, kind of a form and kind of missing middle density. This is just the overview here, so members of the audience can see that as well. So the yellow is the residential neighborhood 1, which is singles and semis, and then the light brown is towns, stacked towns, and also allows for singles and semis to be built as well. The high density residential zone allows for residential buildings up to 6 stories, and then that's the dark brown, and then the pink is mixed use, which allows for both a mixture of commercial and residential uses. Again, that's the pink on the map, and the dark brown is the residential high density residential. So we've located much of the high density residential and mixed use area away from existing neighborhoods. So really focus that on the core of the community and have an adequate buffer from existing residential neighborhoods. From a parkland perspective, kind of 4 key pieces. Number 1 is on the map plates with one that's labeled on the map is sports field and potential rec center. Number 2 is neighborhood parks. So that's that piece that's kind of north on the map. 3 provides for some various walking trails, and 4 is a new Farm Brook Trail parking lot. From an active transportation perspective, kind of have 3 things going on. Number 1 is on the main collector road. There's a sidewalk on one side. It'll be the requirement for the road there is to have a sidewalk on one side and a 3-meter wide multi-use path on the other that goes from Pictou all the way to the new road connection there. Number 2 is a series of crusher dust trails that kind of link internally the community. You can see it on the map there, and that links kind of the green spine up through from the parkland up through lands that are not being developed. And number 3 is there's sidewalks required on all the streets in the development. So it's your road standard that exists with a sidewalk on it. In late October, we held a public information meeting there. Some of the concerns that came up were around stormwater, traffic, and infrastructure timing. And I'm going to address those comments here. It was attended by about 80 people. So from a due diligence perspective, done a traffic impact study, preliminary water and wastewater plan and report, preliminary stormwater management plan and report. I do have representatives from Design Point Engineering here, Kevin Gray, Jeremy Wyatt, who can speak to some of the more technical aspects of the report if any councillors or Madam Mayor, you have any questions about it, or members of the public. From a traffic perspective, that traffic analysis was reviewed by Department of Transportation. They found that it was acceptable. There were no issues. There are upgrades that will have to be required as the development gets built out, and those will be burden on the cost of that is of the developer. Same thing with water and wastewater. Water has reviewed the application, and Municipality, you guys have reviewed the wastewater side of things as well as stormwater. From a water and wastewater perspective, there's minor upgrades that are required, and those are at the cost of the applicant as well, cost of the developer. Next steps perspective. So this is not the be all and end all. Like this is if you were to approve this development agreement tonight, it would be approving a broader land use concept and regulations that exist. There's still subdivision process to go through. It will require approvals from Nova Scotia Environment for stormwater management, Department of Natural Resources for critical species review, development engineering, your own development engineering for detailed road design and service installation. There's also a capacity analysis, capacity confirmation at each stage, at each phase of development for water and wastewater loads. And Nova Scotia Public Works would have authority on any upgrades on the surrounding transport network. So we're at this stage right now, then it'd be subdivision approval and development permitting. So there's all these things that have to happen there. From a future construction or building construction perspective, there's you have your own permitting process. Development officer will have to review any building application to conformance with this agreement. Stormwater controls, any site that has to be developed and is mandated to have pre and post balancing of development flows. That means that stormwater generated from the site today, it can't the future use can't generate more stormwater runoff than there is today. From a floodway perspective, the development agreement requires that the developer adhere to all the floodplain regulations of the municipality. And any sites or larger development sites, multi-unit residential, mixed use, will require a site plan approval process for review. And there are site plan criteria in the development agreement as well. And then the building permits would have to comply with the National Building Code. From a phasing perspective, this is approximately a 20 to 25 year build out. Starting with phases 1A, B, and C. 1C is fronting on Pictou Road, 1B off of Rosemount, and 1A off of Poplar Drive. And then working our way inward. So summary of our request here is that the proposal aligns with the municipal planning strategy intent and all policies of the municipal planning strategy regarding comprehensive development districts. The technical studies that have been done to date validate that concept, and the agreement provides the municipality with control and certainty over the land, how lands get developed. So we are asking that you approve this development agreement at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'll open the floor for questions from council. Any councillors have any questions at this point in time? The applicant?
Yes. Sorry.
And Councillor Kennedy.
Just one question through you. Are the lots all a certain size, the same size, or can you go in and pick the size you want?
They'll be very, so there are minimum lot size requirements. So you can exceed that minimum, but there are minimum for each zone. There is a minimum lot size requirement.
So the answer is they can be all different sizes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Sanderson.
Thank you, Mayor Blair. Through you to Chris. Phase one, do you have an idea of the timeline on getting phase one going?
I suspect it's ASAP.
So this year?
I mean, there's a lot of steps to do subdivision and road construction. So yeah, it's effective. Try to do that through the summer and
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? Well, thank you very much. And appreciate your comments and presentation. And I shall now ask our senior planner, Jill McGillicuddy, if you would come forward and ask staff to introduce the proposed development agreement. Jill, please.
So good evening, and I'm going to apologize in advance. There's gonna probably be a bit of duplication, so I will try to skip over as much of that as I can. So as indicated, the proposal is for a mixed use planned development, and it's consisting of residential, commercial, open space uses. And as indicated, it's located on Pictou Road and Vimy Road. So the intent of this slide is just to give you a bit of an overview. So as indicated, the reason for the application is to enter into a proposed development agreement to permit a mixed use development. The development is proposed over 3 separate PIDs. With a total area of 158.78 acres. I would note that PID number 20069027 is owned by Andrew Blackburn, and it consists of 2.72 acres. There's currently a memorandum of understanding between the numbered company to purchase this parcel of land. Due to an administrative oversight, the development agreement, Andrew Blackburn is not listed as a developer, but should council move forward and approve the development agreement, that will be included prior to registration. He'll be added. So as indicated by the applicant, this is a bit different, this development agreement, compared to other development agreements that council has considered. It is a commercial, or excuse me, it is a CDD zone, which does provide for a more flexible approach to larger tracts of land. Especially given, like if you have, for infrastructure purposes within an existing community, so that there is cohesion between the proposed and the existing. So in 2023, the Municipal Planning Council did amend the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to enable a rezoning to a comprehensive development district. In 2025, the municipality, the new MPS, did follow through on that and permits consideration of a development agreement on lands that are designated as zone CDD. So, the property is currently vacant. The large tract of land that was actually the Bates property. It was once farmed and is suitable for development, although there are steep slopes and some high season water along Farnham Brook, which makes development a bit more restrictive and tends to be more, would lend itself to more passive recreation purposes. PID number 2040846 is right here, and it is a small parcel of land. And it is owned by the numbered company, and they are currently speaking with Vital Living 2.0 Inc. regarding potentially acquiring some of the much larger parcel of land. The reason for including this is to provide access to Kimberly Drive should the development be expanded. And then, as mentioned, there's the parcel of land owned by Andrew Blackburn. There's a mix of uses in the immediate area, including commercial, residential, a number of institutional uses. The proposed development area is contained within the central water and sanitary sewer capacity shed. And there's the frontage is provided on Pictou Road, Rosemount Drive, Poplar Drive, and Farnham Road. Stormwater management in the past in this area, there have been some challenges due to both the topography and access to Farnham Brook. But future development on this land could significantly improve, given the design and functionality of the proposed drainage systems. So this slide is basically, as the applicant presented to you, there's a number of uses that would be permitted under the development agreement. Contained within the development agreement would be the minimum standards that they would have to meet for, depending on the development form on the parcel of land. And again, this is, I don't want to be repetitive. There is a proposed phasing plan. The total number of residential units is 2,790, and anywhere between 20 and 25, probably around 23 is the proposed build out. So the property is currently designated a comprehensive development district. Under the future land use bylaw. And there are numerous planning strategies relevant to the application. Policies 4-108 through 4-111 set out the requirements that are specific to a development agreement within the CDD zone. Policies 622 through 628 are relevant to any in evaluating all land use bylaw amendments and development agreement proposals. Staff did review these policies and have determined that the proposal is compatible with the existing neighborhood, even though it is a larger development. It does contain higher density. There is mitigations within the development agreement that allow for the housing forms along Rosemount are limited to lower density. There also, as indicated previously, there are development standards for each proposed use, the form. So given that, we do believe it would be compatible with the existing neighborhood. It's located within the central serviced area for both water and sewer systems. And there is access is provided by way of provincially owned and maintained roads. The development would also include provisions to ensure that the criterion from each one of the policies are met and that the proposal will conform to both the municipal planning strategy and all applicable bylaws. Property is currently zoned CDD, Comprehensive Development District, in Schedule A of the land use bylaw, and all items that may be addressed under the zoning bylaw will be included within the development agreement. So throughout the process, there were internal departments and external agencies that have been actively engaged throughout the process. I'm not going to go through all of those, but these were the different agencies and departments that have been involved. I would note, it's been an ongoing process. So Water Services, Public Works, Nova Scotia Department of Public Works, they've requested various additional information, which has been provided. And at this point, they have given a positive for a go forward. The Village of Bible Hill has also been actively involved throughout the process. So based on that, the municipal or the MPS policy from 2025, it does provide policy for consideration of a development agreement on the subject lands. And we staff have concluded that the attached draft development agreement meets the requirements of the applicable MPS policies as outlined, and therefore staff recommends that council approve the application for the proposed development agreement as presented.
Thank you, Jill. Councillors, do you have any questions of our senior planner? Councillor Benoit.
Thank you, Mayor Blair. Through you to Jill. You mentioned about the stormwater management can improve functionality. Can you just expand on that a little bit, how that might help what's currently there now?
So they have submitted a preliminary or they've submitted stormwater management plans that have been reviewed by both municipal public works as well as provincial public works. So given that there is no stormwater management mitigations at this point, there will be as a result of the plan. So actually the overall community in that area would potentially be a benefit to them. And as well, each phase, they would have to also do detailed drawings.
Okay,
So as each subdivision phase comes in.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further questions of council? Thank you very much, Jill. Will the Chair of the Planning Advisory Committee please present the report from the December 15, 2025 meeting? Counselor Johnson, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Colchester Planning Advisory Committee of the Municipality of Colchester held a meeting on December the 15th, 2025 at the Bible Hill Junior High School in Bible Hill to discuss the following. The committee reviewed an application from ZAPEP Agriculture Architecture Plus Planning representing 443-2357 Nova Scotia Limited to enter into a development agreement to enable a mixed-use planned development with permitted uses, including a wide variety of residential housing forms from low-density single-unit dwellings to high-density multi-use dwellings, along with mixed commercial, residential, commercial recreation, institutional uses, as well as open spaces and environmental protection areas. Jill McGillicuddy provided an overview of the proposal, including 2025, a Colchester Municipal Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw were adapted. The property was designated CDD as Comprehensive Development District and Zone CDD, Comprehensive Development District. Currently, the property is vacant. The owners have requested to enter into a development agreement to permit a mixed-use planned development. McGillicuddy provided a review of several relevant planning policies as well as comments from internal and external agencies. The applicant, ZAP Agriculture Planning, and a representative from the owners, 443-2357 Nova Scotia Limited, provided an overview of the proposal. Comments and questions were received from community members and answers provided by staff and the applicant. There were questions from PAC members and answers were provided by staff and the applicant. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Mr. Clerk, have any written submissions been received?
No, Madam Mayor, no written submissions have been received.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public present who wish to address council concerning the proposed development agreement? Are there any members of the public that are present that wish to address? Then would you come forward, please? I can't see. Yes, please have a seat and the microphone is on. Would you identify yourself?
Paul Callan from Bible Hill.
Thank you.
At the last meeting, we were told that right now we don't get the police in Bible Hill that we're paying for. We were told that would not be a consideration. The last meeting, we know we don't have enough schools. We were told that would not be a consideration. We asked about would taxes be increased at any time. We were told that was not costed, that would not be a consideration. We said that there was no environmental impact study done. And there wouldn't be, we were told there would not be one done, and that would not be a consideration. We asked, was there a study done on the aquifer and the effect of this development? We were told there was no study and that would not be a consideration. As we're to believe, there is no plan for a public transport system in Bible Hill in the future. What from this development, it appears the numbers are at 2 people per occupancy. This will double the population of Bible Hill. At that density, that will make this the highest urban density in the Maritimes. At 4 people per occupancy, that will rival any urban density in Canada. With no consideration for what I've just mentioned, what is the criteria that the council will vote on or not positive for this development.
I thank you for your question, Mr. Cullen, and I'm going to ask staff if they would address this, please. Jill, please. Share the microphone. You'll just
Through you, Mayor, I guess, the criteria that is outlined in the MPS is the criteria that staff followed in order to come to a recommendation. Some of the things that were mentioned, we did reach out as noted in as noted in the presentation, like to the school board, for instance, and the comments that we received back from the school board were that they have been advised of the proposed development and have advised they would include the planned development as part of their overall considerations as they move forward with facility master planning. We have made a commitment that at each stage of the development, the proposed number of units and building type would be forwarded to Chignecto Central Regional Center for Education. As far as the concern around, I'm sorry, the fire, I believe fire services was one of the concerns. Oh, okay, sorry. Policing, I'm gonna maybe defer to somebody else. I'm assuming that it would be RCMP and Bible Hill. I'm not
Yes, it would
certain
be.
how.
Yes, I'll ask our CAO to address that, please.
Thank you very much to the chair. So the RCMP just completed a policing review, and there's also work underway with the Department of Justice with how they're going to be funding and managing the resources. So that essentially is a resource issue that would be from the RCMP perspective and their staffing levels and their approach to staffing. And B, there's obviously a provincial-wide discussion with regards to policing. So both of those would be in the hands of how they're going to go forward before the municipalities would be able to even engage in that. So while it's future, at the same time, it's our understanding that all of that work is going to come together shortly, but it hasn't been made public as of yet.
So will the council vote on this before all the answers are out?
Council will be voting tonight. It's based on the recommendations and the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw that we have in place.
So even without any environmental impact study, the aquifer, the roads, any plan for any of these been in place? Okay. Thank you for your time.
If I may, I
Jill,
would just
please.
add to around the road network. That was part of the discussion that happened both with Nova Scotia Public Works and our municipal public works. So again, that has been considered, and as each phase comes forward in the tentative subdivision, there would be detailed drawings, cross sections that would have to be supplied at that time and reviewed at each phase of the development. So like this evening, they wouldn't be able to just go construct a road tomorrow. There will be additional reviews that will have to take place.
Thank you. And the aquifer was the
There's no
other.
study on impact on water, the aquifer, what the condition of that is in Bible Hill?
Through you, Mayor,
Yes,
I'll
please.
speak to that. This development will be on central water,
But that's not the
Mhm.
question. The question is you're developing on top of land, you're putting down concrete, you're putting down buildings. That will have an effect on the aquifer. You're led to believe at the last meeting, there was no study done on what the impact of this will be.
No, that's correct. And there's no requirement either municipally or provincially to undertake such a study. And same with an environmental impact assessment for this type of development. There's no provincial or municipal requirements for that.
Thank you for your questions, Mr. Cullen. Anything further to add, Jill?
No, unless council has any further things they want.
Any questions for this part of the meeting, council? Deputy Mayor Sanderson?
Thank you, Mayor. To you to Jill, has there been any discussion that you're aware of by the developer in terms of potential interchange at Prenia Park or Agrotech Park, whatever it's called? At one time, there was interest in an interchange there. And I don't know if there has been any chat with the Department of Public Works on a potential interchange. I'm concerned about traffic congestion and how we're gonna move all those vehicles.
Sure. Part of the response that we received from Nova Scotia Public Works, they did indicate that the proposed roundabout is the preferred option to accommodate the build out on Pictou Road. However, a detailed analysis will be completed and other options may be acceptable. So again, as the build out occurs, they will need to submit detailed drawings. And that again will be reviewed by both Municipal Public Works as well as Nova Scotia Public Works.
To follow up?
Yes,
So,
certainly.
so there is definitely an easy in and out in this new development in case there's a fire within this area. And I'm just thinking about what happened in HRM.
Sure.
There's a way for those.
There are a number of, right now, there are a number of accesses onto a number of different streets. Again, there is each phase would need to be reviewed in accordance with, municipal specs and provincial specs. Again, there was a traffic impact statement was provided. So part of that consideration that would have been brought forward and stamped and certified by a professional engineer, they would have considered the number of accesses in and out.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Councillor Weatherby.
Thank you, Mayor, through you to Jill. Jill, I understand that this development is a long-term project. And as the project progresses, at each stage, there will be a review of all the different matters that have been brought forward by the gentleman. And they're not necessarily all of them, the ones that are our responsibility and our control will be carried out.
Through you, Mayor, yeah, like at each phase of a subdivision, at the tentative subdivision phase, anything that is within our mandate would have a further review, things that are within a provincial mandate that have been forwarded at this point. Like anything to do with Department of Environment, they would have to go through Department of Environment and, if they're gonna do any sort of infilling, but that they've been made aware of that at this point.
Right, and as far as the density of the population, as was mentioned, I mean, that's a future consideration for quite a ways down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it is, at full build out, it would certainly be a more dense development than what is currently within the county. But again, we do feel that the development agreement has provided mitigations because of the CDD, it will be a better fit. We do have, there are controls and it does allow, for it to come together, to be more cohesive and while respecting the built environment around it.
Right. Thank you. I just wanted, I mean, we've looked at this for a long time and we've considered various aspects of the development. And where it is a long-term development, I think several of the items that the gentleman brought forward are important. But right at the moment, can't get the cart ahead of the horse type of thing. So I think that it's covered, as far as I'm concerned, from the meetings we've had and all the hearings we've had. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Jill. Are there any other members of the public present who wish to address council concerning the proposed development agreement?
Good evening. My name's Addie McCollum. I think I know quite a few of you here and you know myself. Long-term resident Bible Hill, 20 years almost to the day. My family and I live in here. Actually, I just noticed the Bible Hill master plan, which was much talk when we moved here back in 2006. And I see a lot of the similarities being echoed in this plan. My concern relates around, Paul brought up a lot of great issues around infrastructure. I think the first thing I want to say is I want to applaud council and developers for coming forward with a plan that develops and addresses today's needs, as long as how it gets looked at with the right infrastructure in place. My concern is specifically around public safety. NCO, thank you, Mr. Trope, for bringing up those points regarding the police service and policing. I'm keenly aware of the challenges of staffing, placing the requests for through DOJ and how that's all staffed up through the RCMP. With my former career, just retired last month, and I'm also aware that in Colchester that there is a and I think the PRC last was mentioning the cop ratio, the population versus police officer ratio, and I'm aware that it's significantly below the national and provincial average here in Colchester. And I'm just talking currently. I'm not talking about what things look like if 3,000 potential residences are added, all the supports that go with it. And one thing that I would just like to perhaps just put in council's mind, whether that has anything to do with the vote tonight or not, but is to have a transparent long-term plan in place for the staff, proper staffing of public safety policing services, something that could be seen as in, if this starts this year, hypothetically, and I know it's a modest start with phase one, but you're talking construction, you're talking theft from construction sites, which is one of the biggest crimes in Nova Scotia. And I'm just wondering, are police services properly staffed with the right numbers to address today's concerns instead of what we're going to be in 3, 4, 5 years down the road? And really, that's my points I make, and I just wonder if council does have a.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Council has been talking about policing for some time, and we understand your concern, and I'll ask our CAO to update you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, Mr. Call. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So first of all, last budget council added 3 new officer positions to the complement, and the intention is, as each budget would roll out, that there will be additional officers that are going to be added. As I mentioned, there was a review, and I know you would be aware of the process that internally the requested number of officers and the funding model that exists. So there is a plan that you would see the actual complement grow year over year. And obviously the ratio depends on how big and how fast the population would grow. But it is our understanding that the reviews have been done throughout the province, and we've had an opportunity to have some discussions, and that we anticipate very shortly we'll have an opportunity to hear from the province on how they will be supporting that. But it certainly is Colchester's intention as we start in the last budget cycle to continue bringing forward additional officers in each budget to enhance what we have. And through Sergeant Rose, the discussions have been, how do we get to the place that best utilizes the model, and does the model need to change or be enhanced? And so every budget cycle will be a good discussion at this table with council.
So just so I understand, then there is a process and a model that's being developed, so that'll be a multi-year financial planning. Would this be something that public would be able to see, or is this something that's going to be in-house?
Through the
Yes,
chair.
please.
Thank you. So through the chair, yeah, the intention is, as the discussions progress with the province, of course, the policing review work was done. And I understand that there's differences depending upon if you're talking about town with local policing or their own policing versus RCMP. So we've had some preliminary discussions with the province and with the RCMP, and there is we'll call it like a draft overview of what that looks like. And if adopted, I would fully expect that would become a very public document at that point.
Yeah. And I will add that, as I'm sure you're aware, we're extremely conscious of community safety in Colchester County. So we're very much in tune with the needs, and we will be discussing it further with every budget for probably a few years, I suspect.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
You're welcome. Nice to see you.
it. See you.
Are there any other members of the public present who wish to address council concerning the proposed development agreement? Any other members present? Then we shall move on. I see no further hands and no one else coming forward. So does staff want to respond to any of the issues that, any further comments from staff on the issues that have been brought up by the public? No?
No, thank you.
All's well. Then this brings an end to this portion of the hearing. And we will advise, and I advise that council will now enter into our deliberations. Is the chair of the Planning Advisory Committee prepared to place a motion on the floor?
I am there.
And Councillor Johnson, please.
Thank you. I move the council approve by way of second reading the application for the proposed development agreement on PIDs 200676658, 200690027, and PID 204084456 located on Pictou Roads.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Richardson. Discussion on the motion. Any discussion on the motion, councillors? Seeing none, you are ready for the question. Question has been called. And all those in favor, you will have your machines up. Please vote. Voting has closed. And the motion is unanimous. Thank you, council. So the approval of the development agreement by council is appealable to the Nova Scotia Regulatory and Appeals Board. Any appeal of council's decision must be made within 14 days of the advertising of this decision. Thank you, council, and thank you to everyone who has participated this evening and for everyone being here this evening. Council, we shall move on to our agenda. And let the record show that Councillor Patton has returned to the table.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No. Here as well.
Yes.
On some number of issues. Wow.
How many years did Addie have it in 2025?
I don't know, I never. Last month.
He had rough about half a year. Really rough. Yeah, no.
Okay, like.
He was the first one in on that Lincolnville family.
Yeah. Yeah. Good time.
Hey, council, we'll begin again. And the first item on your agenda is the approval of the agenda. There is one addition, and that is in-camera closed session, number 13, legal. Are there any further additions or deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, I'm prepared to entertain a motion. The agenda be accepted as amended, moved by Councillor Weatherby, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Any discussion on the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, contrary-minded, nay. The motion is carried. The agenda is approved as amended. The next item is the approval of minutes from the meeting held on January 29, 2026, and I'm prepared to entertain a motion with regards to those minutes. Moved by Councillor Johnson, the minutes be accepted as presented, seconded by Councillor Leggett. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, contrary-minded, nay. The motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is our report and recommendation of council committee meeting from February 12, 2026. Oh, sorry, business arising, yes. Is there any business? I checked it off before I came to it. Any business arising, I'm hurrying the meeting. That would never do. Any business arising from those minutes? I see none. So now we shall move on. Deputy Mayor Sanderson, please, standing committee reports.
Thank you, Mayor Blair. The first one is regarding amendments to the Personnel Policy 5.04 Performance Review. I move that council approves the updated Performance Review Personnel Policy as presented.
And do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Discussion on the motion? Question has been called. All those, are you going to electronically or are we going to go through? Okay. Great. Voting is up. Closed.
no, I didn't mean to.
So you're a yes
Voting in favor.
in favor, so the vote is unanimous. Thank you. And Deputy Mayor, please.
This is regarding amendments to the Personnel Policy 3.01 Salary Administration. I move that council approves the updated Salary Administration Personnel Policy as presented. Copy of the policy is attached.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Johnson. And discussion on the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please vote. Voting is closed. And the vote is unanimous. Deputy Mayor, please.
Regarding council correspondence policy, I move that council adopts the council correspondence policy as presented, and there's a copy of the policy attached.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Kennedy. Discussion on the motion? Question's been called. And all right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion is carried unanimously. And Deputy Mayor, please.
Item is regarding the low-income municipal tax assistance policy. I move that council approves the amendments to the low-income municipal tax assistance program policy as presented. Copy of the policy is attached.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Cooper. Discussion on the motion?
Question.
Question's been called. And we're working again. And all those for voting, please. It's closed. And the vote is unanimous. Deputy Mayor, please.
The final item is regarding busing. I move that council approves that a letter be written to the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development, copied to MLAs, regarding the busing issue and asking that it be addressed.
And seconded by Councillor Weatherby. Any discussion on the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. And voting is up. And closed. And the vote is unanimous. We'll move on. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We'll move on to our action items. And the first action item is the Fundy Discovery Site Visitor Information Center. And I'm going to ask our Director of Corporate Services, Scott, to address this, please. Scott.
Thanks, Mayor Blair, and good evening, Council. The purpose of this action item is to seek approval for capital upgrades for the Visitor Information Center at the Fundy Discovery Site. A bit of background for Council. We do have $100,000 allocated in the capital budget for the site upgrades. It was $50,000 for the building itself, and then $50,000 for the parking lot upgrade. However, as I do mention in the item, the parking lot upgrade is going to be postponed until the completion of the bridge. So those funds are available for this project. In terms of the BIC, the building itself was originally on the site when we purchased the property, and it's in need of some upgrades, which are anticipated to be done prior to opening this year. And that would include creating a barrier-free accessibility for the building. So that would be things like a new ramp, deck and stairs, graspable handrails, as well as wider doors and automated doors for accessibility. It also includes new windows, interior lighting, and furnishings, including a height counter for public and staff, and new flooring. 4 bids were received, and the lowest bid came in from DKI, which was for $93,000, which worked out to, with our tax that we pay, it would be $97,387.12. In terms of strategic priorities, I would emphasize that it does align well with livable community connectivity, and as Council's aware, we do have accessibility standards that we are trying to achieve. So this does move us in that direction. So in terms of the item itself, we are looking for Council to approve the award to DKI Truro, and the price would be $93,387.12 plus tax. And the project itself would be funded through the Municipal Infrastructure Reserve.
Thank you very much, Scott. I'm prepared to entertain a motion. Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Chair. I'll move that council approves awarding the VIC building renovation, to DKI Truro at a price of $93,387.12, excluding HST, with the source of funds being Municipal Infrastructure Reserve.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Richardson. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Cooper.
Mayor Blair, not sure who to address this to. It's my understanding that underneath the provincial budget that's coming out with the cutbacks to tourism and things like that, that things like municipally owned visitor information centers will be either kept at their level of funding or enhanced. Do we have any information on that?
I'll ask our CAO to address that, please.
Thank you. So through the chair, I saw that written in media, but I did not specifically receive any confirmation of that through any of the budget documents. I haven't saw that myself, but like you, that's what I understood to be the case.
Just asked that's because the funding was disappearing. That would kind of. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further questions? Councillor Martel.
Thank you very much. I just want to add my opinion that investing in regional VICs has never been more important, and that they have a major role to play in keeping our tourism, our tourists that come here looking for information have that personal touch to keep them in the community, to welcome them to stay and have them spend more money when they're here. So I applaud the decision to improve our own facility.
Fully agree with you, Counselor. Further comments or questions? Then are you, the question has been called and voting is on. The vote is now closed. And the motion is passed unanimously. Thank you, Council. Moving on, our next item is correspondence, and the first piece of correspondence is from David K. Parker, fundraising chair. And this is a letter received on February 18, 2026, requesting support for a student attending Science Fair Nationals. You have a copy of the letter attached, and I'm prepared to entertain a motion based on your wishes. Councillor Cooper,
Move that we receive for information.
you have a motion to receive for information. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Martel. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Benoit.
Thank you, Mayor Blair. I don't know, Scott, maybe you can answer this or Dan, but I feel like we did this last year maybe, or the year before. And how much did we support it, or did we know? No.
So through the chair, you're right, the request came through. I think the difference this year is it is a higher amount than in the past because I believe of the distance to get to the event. But it did come before council at least once, if not twice, and both times council did not.
Anything further, Councillor Benoit?
Well, I'm just gonna say, and I think I said this probably the last time, that I know that, and I don't know where this fits, there was no way to contact them to get more information, but I know we've said in the past that we do not support school functions and things like that. I don't know if this is if this would be different than that, but I always just think about, we help elementary schools with school equipment or with playground equipment. And then as these kids get older, they're no longer on the playground equipment. So therefore we don't help them with anything else. And I think things like this is fantastic for kids to be involved in if they're interested in being in a science fair or drama club or anything else. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to send 3,000, but I think it's important for us to continue to support these kids that are getting older and no longer on playground equipment. So that's just my thought, but thank you.
Any further comments? Councillor Cooper?
I certainly agree with Councillor Benoit's comments, but the unfortunate thing is council has always leaned in the past towards bringing people here and having things here, supporting that, rather than, individual sending individuals away somewhere else and thing. If council wants to look at, put a policy in place for them, certainly okay with that. But at this point in time, I can't really support.
Yes, this is a motion to receive. I understand that. I was just wrote a little note to our CAO to ask if we knew what our education fund would be increased by this year. It's through the provincial government. In 2025, 26, we have a $10.2 million education fund that we pay. And I'm hoping that education would be able to do some support for the students. Deputy Mayor Sanderson.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to mention the big price tag that the county pays for education in the province, in this county. When we receive for information, will there be a note go back to this gentleman indicating, and perhaps indicate in that letter that we don't tend to support things like this, so that they don't continue to ask every year? So that they understand the position of council that.
Notes have just been made,
Okay.
Councillor.
Thank you.
Yes. We have a motion on the floor to receive. Any further comments? Counselor Benoit.
Sorry, can I just ask one more question?
Certainly.
I don't know if you
Absolutely.
can answer this, but is this a type of like the science fair? Would it go to different like different regions kind of thing? Like maybe it's in Pictou this year, but because they've held them in Truro in the past, and I don't know if it's that it gets moved around and that's why it's in Pictou, because I know my kids attended the one in the NSCC at one time, a long time ago. So I just wonder if maybe that's why it's in Pictou and it gets moved around, so.
It said the top projects may be advanced to the National Science Fair, which will be held the last week of May 2026 in Edmonton. And that was where the cost was mentioned. So they're looking at it from a national perspective. Any further comments or questions? Then are you ready for the question?
Question.
Question, okay. And voting is up. Vote is now closed. And we have a majority vote in favor of the motion. Right.
Passed, it's fine.
Um, wrong button pressed?
Yeah.
Okay, unanimous decision. Okay,
Sorry.
not a problem. No, it happens.
Yes.
The next item, the next action item that we have in correspondence is a letter from Emma Jean McNutt dated February 2, 2026, requesting street lighting at the paved end of Tatry Settlement Road and Route 6 intersection. And the suggested action is to refer this to staff for further information. Councillor Martel.
I would like to make a motion to refer this request for street lights at the intersection of Route 6, Roslyn Road and Tatry Settlement to staff to provide feedback based on the requirements of county street light policy.
Thank you, Councillor. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Benoit. Discussion on the motion? Question has been called and voting is up. And is now closed. And the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Council. Moving on to our correspondence information, we have our monthly reports from our development officer and our building inspector. And I would like to have a motion that these be accepted for information. Moved by Deputy Mayor Sanderson, seconded by Councillor Weatherby. And any discussion on any of the points on this, on these reports? All positive? Then are you ready for the question?
Question.
And voting is on. Voting is now closed. And the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Council. Moving on to our information items. The first information item is the Community Trail Funding Program Winter 2025-26 applications. It is self-explanatory. You will see where the Tatamagouche Area Trails Association has received some funding. Dalhousie University Trails have received, Walking Trail has received a grant, a small grant. And then you will also see where that one application was ineligible. Any questions on that? I heard there, yes, sorry, I didn't see the red light, sorry. Councillor Benoit.
You, Mayor Blair. Not sure. I see no one's here, I don't think, on this, but I was just wondering how much is the annual allocation and what is in the reserve? And do we receive many asks? But I don't know if anybody can answer that.
We do have a number of asks and often it's Craig that reports, but I shall direct the question to our Director of Corporate Services, Scott, please.
I'm not really involved in the trails grant, project. I'm not sure if I could, not really sure if I'm the right person to ask.
Okay, then I just saw dollar signs and
Yeah.
directed the question to you. to you,
Yeah,
Scott.
I mean, there's an
Yeah.
annual, I think there's an annual allowance
Yes,
in the operating budget, and just going by memory, I think it's around $80,000. I think there, so,
yeah, I think that's,
That we put in.
that-
annually.
yeah,
yeah, I think that rings a bell with me, yes. And Dan?
Thank you through the chair. Yeah, and to be honest with you, in reading this, it basically, it looks like it's 70 to 80,000 would be the amount when you look at the totals.
Anything further, Councillor Benoit?
No, that's good, thanks.
Any other questions? Councillor Leggett?
First.
Okay.
You-
That was my question.
I'm not quite sure how this fits into this, or maybe it doesn't even fit into this equation. But at some point in the next few years, part of the valley nature loop trail is gonna have to be rebuilt. Because we're gonna lose 200 some odd feet of it. Is that coming to this program at some point or some other program?
I'll ask our CAO to address that, please.
You have to ask someone more knowledgeable on that than me, and I'll get back to you on that. So
Okay, yeah.
I'll get someone to respond.
Just a consideration for future.
Yep.
Okay, it's a matter of record now. Okay. Pam, could you have anything to add to that?
No, sorry,
If you can hit me back of the head.
yeah.
Sorry? No? Okay.
No, I can't offer any insight on that.
All right, we'll get further information, but at least it now has been mentioned, so thank you for that. Information item, award of tender to the Fundy Discovery Site Trails Construction Contract. And again, that is, all the information is there for you. The two multi-use trails at the Fundy Discovery Site and the lowest compliant bidder in the budget. So are there any questions on that particular item? Councillor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to Michelle. I'm looking at it here. It's $200,000 difference. So obviously when I look at the second lowest tender, 448, and the lowest tender, 247, is it doable in your mind for 247 from the Public Works Department on that million budget? And it's that much less.
And our Director of Public Works,
Chair.
please.
We are aware the price is quite low. We did check on the subcontractors providing services, the wool care and the leaf hut, and so all contractors that we've reliably worked with in the past, and at this point, we're comfortable moving ahead, but we acknowledge that we're going to wait and see how the project unfolds.
Any further questions? Councillor Cooper?
Not a question, just wanted to make a comment that happy to see 18 bidders putting things out there and 6 coming in. So it's welcome increase.
Yeah, yes, that's positive, yes. Yeah, good to see. Any further questions on this information item? Right, thank you. Then we shall move on to our reports from council members. And all our councillors, I thank you for being at the meeting with our Minister of Municipal Affairs, those of you who were able to come that didn't have work commitments on that particular time. I know that some of you did. Because the minister, we were pleased to have the minister here with a number of his personnel. And of course, the meeting, he wanted to hear from us. So he was looking to us for areas that we were of interest and concern that related to our municipality. As Colchester County did speak on a number of things. We talked about infrastructure monies. We talked about infrastructure and housing, the unhoused. We talked about emergency management service and upcoming potential changes. We spoke on water resources as a natural resource, the spring water issue. We spoke on Portapeck permanent memorial, and a brief statement was made about the rec having a new board in place. So he spent over about an hour and 45 minutes with us, close to that, and we were able to ask a lot of questions of his staff, and Deputy Minister and Associate Deputy Minister, so we're very pleased to have him with us. So I thank you all for the work that you continue to do on a regular basis and dealing with your constituents in a very knowledgeable and helpful manner. So thank you all for the work you do and for the reports that you have put forward. Really interesting to read all of them, so. The next item, if there are no questions on any of the reports, then we shall move on to our in-camera part of the meeting, and I shall ask for a motion to go in camera. Moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Johnson. And we are now in camera. We'll take a 10-minute break.
Oh, you guys.